Benefit 1. Establishing Jesus' sovereignty. The first and most foundational strategic benefit of calling on Jesus Christ first is the declarative act of establishing Jesus' sovereignty. You legally place him in the position of absolute authority over the entire crisis. Sovereignty is not automatic in your personal crisis. It must be acknowledged and submitted to by your will. When you are faced with a massive problem, your flesh demands control. It wants to analyze, panic, plan, and attempt self-rescue. The moment you place the first phone call to a human resource, you are by default submitting the situation to the jurisdiction of human logic, fear, and limited resource. You have effectively, though unconsciously, sidelined Jesus Christ and made his wisdom subservient to human counsel. Biblical Masterclass. The superiority of divine trust. The Word of God makes the distinction between human and divine reliance painfully clear. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. Psalm 118:8. The Hebrew word for better here is a word of superiority and necessity. It is not an option, it is a law. Trusting in man first is a spiritual contamination that Jesus addresses directly. The strategic mandate of sovereignty requires that your first move must be to transfer the right to define the problem and the right to provide the solution. 1. Transfer of definition. When you call Jesus first, you refuse to define the crisis by the world's limitations, financial ruin, incurable illness, inevitable loss. You define it only by Jesus' power and promises. Transfer of authority. You are declaring, I refuse to let fear or human opinion speak first. Jesus Christ is the ultimate and final authority on this matter. His word is the only word I need. If you have already spent 2 days analyzing the crisis with 5 different people, you have already allowed 5 limited, contaminated opinions to establish the boundary of the problem. When you finally get around to prayer, you are praying for Jesus to fit his solution into the tiny box that human counsel has already constructed. This is not establishing sovereignty, it is limiting God. Your first call must be a silent, decisive submission of the entire terrain. It is a legal declaration. Jesus, you are the absolute sovereign over this field of battle. I am merely your agent, waiting for your first command.